You're listening to the Acadiana's Morning News Podcast, brought to you by LABI and always on KPEL965.com.
The YMCA is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick below the surface. Y is the before-work hustle, an after-school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. With my Y, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why. Join today at ymca.org for a better us.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more families learn how to budget and save.
I want my neighbors to have access to health care.
Help create opportunities for everyone in your community. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette. Broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
They are blue Senate seats. Republicans hope to flip red. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A governor hopes to win one, and ex-governor is trying to win the other.
The campaign for Maryland and America's future begins.
Larry Hogan won the Republican primary in the race to replace retiring Senator Ben Cardin.
In the Democratic primary, a much closer race and even an upset after Congressman David Schrone was defeated by County Executive Angela Alsobrooks.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Annapolis, Maryland. Schrone spent $60 million of his own money in that race, 10 times more than Alsobrooks. In West Virginia, Governor Jim Justice, with a Trump endorsement, won the Republican Senate primary.
Anybody in their right mind that could ever think that the Joe Biden administration and what we're doing is right, I think, is a lunatic.
Justice will face Glenn Elliott, a Democrat who's trying to keep the seat blue in the race to replace Democratic Senator Joe Manchin. In those states and Nebraska, there were easy primary wins again for former President Trump and President Biden, who announced new tariffs on Chinese imports, including electric vehicles and batteries.
I'm determined that the future of electric vehicles will be made in America by union workers, period.
The president also readying $1 billion worth of weapons and other military aid to Israel after the Biden administration blocked shipments of bombs to Israel, fearing they'd be used in an operation against Hamas in Rafah, an area of Gaza filled with Palestinian civilians. House Republicans were upset about that aid being blocked.
In an exclusive sit-down with Fox's Brian Kilmeade, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's stunned that House Democratic leadership is whipping against a GOP bill to stop President Biden from blocking or conditioning weapons for Israel.
It surprises me, and our plan is to be very aggressive to ensure that the actual will of Congress is maintained.
A whip note obtained by Fox says the bill is another partisan stunt by extreme MAGA Republicans.
That's Fox's Aisha Hosni at the Capitol. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
It's an off day at former President Trump's trial in New York, where he's getting a lot of Republican support.
From House Speaker Mike Johnson to VP hopefuls such as Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, support for the former president showed up at Manhattan Federal Court. Former fixer Michael Cohen will still be under cross-examination when court reconvenes Thursday. Former President Trump said he feels it's going well, but a gag order upheld on appeal Tuesday keeps him from expounding.
I am not allowed to talk about big portions of my case, and nothing like that's ever happened. They're allowed to talk, the other side, but I'm not.
Michael Cohen is said to be the prosecution's final witness. In New York City, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Now, Cohen has testified he's done lying for the president and detailed what he claims are fake invoices and reimbursements for paying Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about an alleged affair before the 2016 election. The former president is charged with falsifying records in those repayments. We'll get an inflation update next hour on how much consumer prices rose last month, the day after the report showing wholesale inflation went up more than expected in April. Ahead of that, on Wall Street, stock futures are barely budging. In the NBA playoffs, a big night for defending champion Denver.
Jokic on top. Dancing with Gobert. Three. He is putting together a masterpiece.
Nikola Jokic scored 40 points, leading the Nuggets past the Timberwolves 112-97 on TNT, giving Denver a 3-2 series lead over Minnesota. Jalen Brunson scored 44. In the Knicks' blowout win over the Pacers, New York beat Indiana by 30 to go up 3-2. In the WNBA, Caitlin Clark scored 20 points in her pro debut, but her team Indiana lost to Connecticut. In hockey, Boston beat Florida to force a Game 6. Edmonton even the NHL playoff series with Vancouver. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wirtz with a look at news on this Wednesday, May 15th. The St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Energy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Atchafalaya Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. Former State Senator Bodie White has stepped down as Governor Landry's legislative liaison to the Senate. The Advocate reports White got into a heated argument with one of Landry's staffers over whether a bill the governor wants passed has adequate funding. The NFL schedule will be released tonight. 2 games have already been confirmed. The season opener is Baltimore at Kansas City on September 5th. The Cowboys will kick off the regular season in Cleveland against the Browns. That will be Tom Brady's debut in the broadcast booth for Fox. The Saints have signed defensive tackle Kendall Vickers and offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. Vickers appeared in 2 games with the Bills last season and spent 3 seasons with the Raiders. Patrick is a 7-year NFL vet who has started 54 games with the Packers and the Bears. Former Ragin' Cajun star Spencer Arrighetti won his first Major League game Monday night when Houston defeated the Oakland A's 9-2. Arrighetti allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. Former LSU star Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
This hour of Acadiana's Morning News has been brought to you by Jani King. The King of Clean has been a leader in the cleaning industry on the Gulf Coast for over 35 years. To find out more about their cleaning and disinfecting services, head to their website at janiking.com. The Cajun Heartland State Fair is coming May 23rd through June 2nd. This year, the fair celebrates its 36th anniversary, and you can celebrate with early bird savings. Get the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack before the start of the fair and save. The News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack includes 4 ride wristbands and 4 fair admission vouchers for only $100. And you can redeem them on any day of the fair you choose. Save now when you score the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack. Only $100. And hurry, because there's a limited quantity of the Advanced Mega Packs. Get yours today. You can buy the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack at the Cajun Dome box office or online at CajunDome.com. LUS presents the 36th Annual Cajun Heartland State Fair, May 23rd to June 2nd. At the Cajun Dome, experience the wild rides on the Gold Star Midway or free family entertainment like Scott's World of Magic. Learn more at KPEL965.com and click on the Cajun Dome link. Brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL, where Acadiana comes to talk.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Doesn't look like we have any traffic lights in Lafayette out, so that's good news for this morning. We do have an accident, though. Barrow School Road at Bolton, which is just west of its intersection with Pinhook. Current temperature, 68 degrees. Good morning and welcome into Acadiana's Morning News on this Wednesday, May 15th. Oh, Louisiana taxes due today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even if you don't file the actual return, you still have to pay, which always boggles my mind because how much do you know how much do you know you need to pay if you didn't do your return? I don't understand it all, but the folks who need to take advantage of that probably do. And CPAs absolutely know. So just keep that on the radar. It is Bring Flowers to Someone Day. Oh, I love that. Whether it's picked out of the yard or just a grab and go bouquet from the grocery store, that'll make them smile.
Yeah, definitely.
It's National Juice Slush Day, if you like that thing. National Nylon Stocking Day. Those have kind of faded out of popularity, and many women cheer about that, but some folks still wear them. Every now and then I do. It just depends on how I'm feeling. It is National Chocolate Chip Day.
Okay.
All things chocolate chip cookies. You put them in brownies. You can eat them just like that. Yeah, I'm all about the chocolate chip. It is Peace Officers Memorial Day. Now, tomorrow in Lafayette, they have their annual Peace Officers Memorial where departments from across Acadiana come to Lafayette. They leave the Lafayette Police Department and make their way to St. Barnabas. So just be aware that that's happening tomorrow afternoon. Mm-hmm. It is International Family Day and National Straw Hat Day.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Good time of year for that.
Yeah, no kidding. Checking on this date in history. On this date in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln signed an act establishing the Department of Agriculture. I didn't realize it had been around that long. Mm-hmm. On this date in 1905, Las Vegas was officially founded. I did not find out if the gambling thing started immediately. Mm-hmm. But Sin City established on this date in 1905. On this date in 1928, Mickey Mouse appeared in his first cartoon in front of a public audience in a test screening of the short Plain Crazy. Now, folks are saying, well, what about Steamboat Willie? Well, Mickey made his formal screen debut with the release of Steamboat Willie 6 months later. But today's the first time that he actually appeared on a screen in front of a public audience at all. On this date, yesterday we talked about Israel being declared a country or whatever the terminology is. And on this date in 1948, just hours after declaring its independence, I think it was from Britain, we said the new state of Israel was attacked by Transjordan, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, and Lebanon. So, man, that's been going on for a long time.
It has.
East has just been an absolute mess. On this date in 1958, the USSR launched the Sputnik 3. The space race was on.
So, it just sounds Russian. Sputnik.
Yeah, agreed.
Sputnik.
Yeah. I think that's fascinating with the whole space race thing. Yeah, that was kind of during the Cold War. So those are some things that happened on this date in history and things you might want to celebrate today. Bring someone flowers, make them smile, just for no reason at all. Coming up later this morning, it's our Mayor's Minutes. In this morning with us is Mayor Jan Scott Richard from the city of Scott. And then at 8 o'clock, we have a visit from the Lafayette Parish School Superintendent Francis Touchet, and he will be bringing in a distinguished graduate from this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's that time of year, and graduations start like now. They're going on this week, so it will be interesting to talk to our distinguished graduate from Lafayette Parish. So
definitely.
Lots to do this morning. Keep it here at KPEL News Time, 6:18.
Media Minute with Howard Kurtz.
After a huge media buildup, the cross-examination of Michael Cohen yesterday seemed rather scattershot. Why did defense attorney Todd Blanche waste time quoting from all the insults that Cohen was dishing out against Donald Trump on social media? We all know that he has been trashing him for 6 years. He's built a lucrative career on it. Send him to the big house, not the White House, said a mug that he is selling. But Blanche did score a point in asking whether the Manhattan DA's office had repeatedly asked him to stay off TV. Cohen, whose memory turned foggy, initially was evasive and then said yes, but it was fewer than 5 times. And when he brought up Cohen's home confinement after being released for COVID, it was a not so subtle way of reminding the jury that he had served time in prison. Now, the defense had spent time inoculating Cohen on giving his spin on these answers. We'll see how it pans out. With your Media Minute, Howard Kurtz, Fox News.
Party at Rock and Bowl all weekend, starting Thursday with Horace Trahan, Friday Nickel Beer, Saturday Crossfire, Sunday Chubby Carrier. Tickets now at rockandbowl.com. God bless you, God love you, and thank God for
Fox on Tech. The next time you Google AI, you very likely will be Googling with AI. Google announces that this week it's rolling out its artificial intelligence integrated into its flagship product, its long-lived and ubiquitous search engine. How will it work? At first, you might not notice, but search engines will no longer be presented based solely on coding or tagging or content ratings alone. But what Google's new AI called Gemini is able to glean from websites and how it best interprets your web searching. The goal is to present you, the user, with results that are more contextual and more pertinent to what you tell Google you are seeking. The news came at Google's I/O Developers Conference taking place in Mountain View, California this week. Google isn't the first to integrate an AI into web searching. Microsoft's Bing search engine had already deployed the technology created by OpenAI, makers of ChatGPT. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We have an accident still showing up Vero School Road near Bolton. That's just west of its intersection with Pinhook. Hopefully it's been moved off the roadway. Doesn't feel bad out there this morning. Current temperature 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 6:24 on this Wednesday, May 15th. And while the storms Monday rolled through, the after effects certainly linger. In the state of Louisiana, for Entergy customers, there's still about 33,000 customers without power. And for Slimco, they are still working to restore power to their folks. They released a statement overnight that says we have approximately 3,100 customers still without power in Lafayette, St. Martin, and Acadia parishes. Crews are working all night. What is left is smaller outages, some of which are singles and some of which may be a handful of locations on the same line. These must all be worked individually, making repairs at each location. And they said that they appreciate the kind comments and support that they've been shown. We realize it's not fun. In fact, it's quite miserable. You have our word. We are pushing through to work as quickly and safely as possible. For Lafayette, Lafayette residents who are customers of LUS says that they have, this was as of last night, but they had restored over 96% of the 7,500 outages that were reported in their service area, with just under 250 remaining. So I'm sure that those folks will be taken care of today. I was looking on the Nextdoor social media app last night, and some folks in the Idlewood area, in certain very specific neighborhoods, still had outages, and they had been dealing with it for, at that point that I read about it, was 24 hours.
Wow,
and that is miserable.
It is.
As you look at the power outage map, we talked about 5,000 customers out across the Acadiana parishes. In Acadia Parish, you have 1,177. In Vermilion Parish, 216. In Lafayette Parish, 1,817. In St. Martin, 1,319. Only about 40 customers out in Iberia Parish, and right at 500 in St. Landry, and just a handful in Evangeline. So again, Mark, you look at that I-10 corridor, that really just took a beating from the storm on Monday night. We do have another round of rain coming tomorrow night, but what I'm reading from the local meteorologists is that the severe weather won't be as big an issue.
Right.
It'll just be a lot of rain.
Sure. I also heard that from new weather yesterday is that the storm, the weather on Thursday would be late Thursday night into Friday morning, which, look, people are sleeping. There's few cars on the road. It's just that's kind of a better time. But I think it's just passing rain. But, Monday was a surprise.
Yeah.
Just kind of took us all by bad cliche, took us all by storm.
Yeah. Well, and, I think about what happened Monday and how tragic it was in some areas. I was watching more video coming out of St. Martin Parish and just seeing pictures, where that tornado touched down there, and an EF2, that's like in excess of like 150 miles an hour on the Fujita scale. And it started in Cecilia, strengthened as it made its way to Henderson, and then went out into the Atchafalaya Basin. And when something like that happens, it's reminiscent of what happened in 2016. And I'll I'll qualify that statement. People, it took them a long time to not be frightened when bad weather was coming, when a lot of rain was coming. And I think that's the same situation that we'll face at least for the next few months, maybe even few years. When people talk about storms and thunderstorms, they're going to have a type of PTSD, if you will, as it relates to storms. And so, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families who lost family members. We had the Texas woman who was in a camper in just outside Cecilia who died. And then heartbreaking story out of West Baton Rouge Parish. A pregnant woman died. She was at term and her baby died as well. That my heart just clenched when I heard that.
You use the term, and I just have to confirm, PTSD, post-traumatic. Oh, as I thought you said, okay, FD,
no.
And
SD,
which would have been, SD, that's the term, but FD would apply. Fear disorder.
Yeah, well,
post-traumatic fear disorder. Yeah, but all true. So, but we hang together, and we have great first responders and utility companies, and that is some solace, gives us some peace of mind. So there you go.
KPEL News Time is 6:29.
KPEL covers Acadiana with Lowry's Printing and Copying.
St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Office Training Division is hosting a Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries boater education course on Saturday, May 18th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the St. Martin Sheriff's Office Training Academy at 1815 Terrace Highway. Learn about all the factors, fun and safety factors related to boating. State law requires that all persons born after January 1, 1984 have this training. It's free and open to the public. Register at LouisianaOutdoors.com. 7th Annual Acadiana Po' Boy Festival is set for West Village Development in Scott. That's on the new Apollo Road in Scott. It's Saturday, May 18th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Food, fun, music, and more. And, of course, you can sample loads of delicious po' boys for a very reasonable price. Get the details at socialentertainment.net or follow Social Entertainment on Facebook.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news on this Wednesday, May 15th. The St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Energy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Atchafalaya Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. Former State Senator Bodie White has stepped down as Governor Landry's legislative liaison to the Senate. The Advocate reports White got into a heated argument with one of Landry's staffers over whether a bill the governor once passed has adequate funding. The NFL schedule will be released tonight. 2 games have already been confirmed. The season opener is Baltimore at Kansas City on September 5th. The Cowboys will kick off the regular season in Cleveland against the Browns. That will be Tom Brady's debut in the broadcast booth for Fox. The Saints have signed defensive tackle Kendall Vickers and offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. Vickers appeared in 2 games with the Bills last season and spent 3 seasons with the Raiders. Patrick is a 7-year NFL vet who has started 54 games with the Packers and the Bears. Former Ragin' Cajun star Spencer Arrighetti won his first major league game Monday night when Houston defeated the Oakland A's 9-2. Arrighetti allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. Former LSU star Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Ward.
Acadiana drivers, did you know that bicycles are considered vehicles under Louisiana law? Cyclists have the right to use the roadway same as motor vehicles. You're urged to share the road by giving a buffer zone of at least 3 feet when passing a cyclist. Yield to cyclists as you would another motorist. And remember, a cyclist does not have the protection of a vehicle if they're in a crash. Protect your fellow citizens on bicycles. This announcement was brought to you by Bike Lafayette. Learn more at bikelafayette.org.
This is Dave from the Dave Matthews Band for RAD. When you go out and party, get drunk, then drive, you're not only loaded, you're a loaded weapon. When you celebrate, designate. Choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, we just got a call that there are several police cars on Congress near St. Mary, trying to find out what's going on with that, and we definitely will keep you updated. Current temperature is 68 degrees.
Little ditty about Jack and Diane, 2 American kids growing up in the heartland. Jackie gonna be a football star, Diane's debutante backseat of Jackie's car.
KPEL News Time is 6:40 on this Wednesday morning. We are keeping an eye, of course, on the power outages across especially the Acadiana parishes, because you still have about 5,000 people total, and those are customers of Entergy and Slimco largely, a handful left of LUS. Checking out the Entergy outage information, by the way. Power is expected to be restored for Entergy customers late tonight in Acadia, Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, Lafayette, St. Landry, Vermilion, and St. Martin, with the exception of Henderson, because remember, Henderson just really took a walloping, and our thoughts and prayers with all of those folks there. The pictures just absolutely heartbreaking, especially Patson Henderson. I mean, it's kind of been an icon, right? In Acadiana, and hopefully they will be able to recover and rebuild, bring that wonderful place back to life. Mark, in the news today, the sports news, former Ragin' Cajun baseball standout Spencer, I hope I said this right, Arrighetti.
Yeah, I think that's close.
Yeah.
Close enough for government work.
Well, he won his first major league game Monday night playing for Houston. They defeated the Oakland A's 9-2. Mm-hmm. He allowed 2 runs over 5 innings, but across the basin, former LSU star Alex Bregman, I do remember that name.
Yeah, LSU, right.
He hit 2 home runs. So apparently the 2 that the Oakland A's scored were both scored by him. So congratulations.
Yeah. Our Ragin' Cajuns do well. We have some Cajun baseball players in the MLB, Major League Baseball.
And, folks are football fans are chomping at the bit to start seeing games and ramping up toward the season, if you will. The Saints have signed on a number of people, most recently defensive tackle Kendall Vickers, offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. So hopefully they will be good additions to the Saints team. The NFL schedule will be released tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that Saints fans want to know exactly what's happening and what's going to be going on there so that they can make plans accordingly. Now, the first 2 games have been announced. The season opener, Baltimore at Kansas City. That happens on September the 5th. And the Cowboys will kick off their regular season against the Cleveland Browns. I'm sure our colleague Chris Reed is excited about that. He's a big Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
He has all the garb and, the shirts, and people here give him grief and, so anyway. But the Cowboys-Browns game will be Tom Brady's debut in the broadcast booth on Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a show, and help me out here, guys. I think it's Netflix. It's a roast of Tom Brady. It's kind of one of those reality shows. It's not a fiction show.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen it, but have heard some chatter about it. Some people just say it's hysterical. I think I would watch just to see if the other folks in the booth will give him grief.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I saw some highlights. I don't know what it was. It was one of those pop-ups, on the scroll, I guess YouTube or possibly what's the other one? TikTok.
Yeah.
But they were roasting Tom Brady, but hey. Well, look, you mentioned Saints. Good opportunity, Saints schedule coming out. Good. This one blows my mind.
Okay.
I think he's a defensive player. Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yes.
Okay, believe was drafted by the Saints. I think he's from Alabama.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But, again, I don't follow that closely. But when I hear that name, it's like, wow. Now, did you tell me or somebody else that the Kool-Aid?
Yep, they are thinking about making a flavor. Talk about Kool-Aid and I'll see.
I don't know what to say about Kool-Aid other than I like his name. I think he's I'm pretty sure he's from Alabama. And look, the Saints, we never know kind of year to year. Oh, also, Speaking of Saints, they drafted a quarterback, which took a lot of people by surprise. And I know he's from South Carolina, and I can see the man's face, but cannot think of his name. He's a good athlete, a good performer. But we've got the long hot summer before we get into even preseason NFL football. But people do look forward to that.
He did get a package deal, according to Fox 54, with Kool-Aid and a limited edition flavor, which, you know what? Capitalize on it, man. Let's see. After Friday's draft, he will appear in a limited edition run of a flavor called Black Cherry Blitz.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a story here about how he got his name. He also has a unique 3-year starter. he said his nickname came from his grandmother 1 minute after his birth. When I came home, I was smiling. She said I had the Kool-Aid smile.
What a name to put on your child.
But nobody would ever forget it, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm sure his nickname is Cooley.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's segue quickly, if you will, to baseball and softball. Cajuns hosting a regional softball, and they play tomorrow night tomorrow afternoon against Princeton. Let's see, who are the other teams? Ole Miss and Baylor. There are four teams. The regional Cajuns play their season finale, regular season finale. Play South Alabama. Those games are tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday.
Okay.
And Saturday for the Cajuns is graduation day. They get their diplomas on the field, and it's senior day. And as we always end with, go Cajuns.
KPEL News Time, 6:47.
Hey folks, it's Joe, and you have heard me talk several times about my time in the classroom here in Lafayette Parish being a teacher, and throughout those years had come across students who had been experiencing or had experienced homelessness. And I'm here with David Owens of Gifting Grace Project to talk a little bit about the work they do assisting kids in Lafayette who are experiencing the same thing.
That's right, Joe. The Gifting Grace Project is Acadiana's homeless children's outreach, and we are proud to be the outreach for these children in Acadiana, providing them with backpacks with school supplies, hygiene products, meal vouchers, and more. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to help us out and make a difference today. Or you can text GGP to 53555 and get more information that way and make your donation as well.
Folks, there's nothing more important than helping our most vulnerable, our kids. They are the future, and we need to do everything we can for them. And that's why David and I are here today asking you to support Gifting Grace Project.
Get involved today. Thank you.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We had an accident earlier, Vero School Road near Bolton, which is just west of its intersection with Pinhook. That is still showing up on the traffic board. Hopefully, it has been moved off the roadway. Just in case, I want to let you know you might be slowed down in that particular area. Sun is coming up on this Wednesday morning. Current temperature, a nice cool 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 6:52. Wednesday, May the 15th. Don't forget, you got to file your Louisiana income taxes. They're due today. Now, one of the things I found interesting, I will let you know about this, is typically you have to, if you want to get an extension to November 15th, you have to file for it. Mm-hmm. It's automatic this year. So if you don't file, you automatically get the extension. The fly in the ointment is that you still need to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know how that all works.
I wonder if I'm sure they passed the law.
Right.
State law saying if automatic extension.
We are going to go to the phone lines right now. Ryan Schmeltz with Fox News joining us. First of all, good morning, Ryan.
How are you?
We are doing very well. We had some bad storms here Monday night, but people are recovering, so that's good news. I noticed this morning that you are covering a very interesting story that congressional Democrats are asking President Biden to use every tool necessary to lower food prices, including an executive order. Now, explain to us what's going on here.
Right. So you have a number of Democrats sending a letter to President Biden asking him to do whatever means are necessary to lower food prices. Now, compared to some other action we've seen Congress take, this is mainly focused on corporate greed. So what they're asking for is to intervene in a number of ways, like encouraging the Department of Justice or the FTC to investigate some of these mergers or stop some of these big mergers in the food and ag sectors from happening. Getting the DOJ to crack down on any type of activity that might be considered price gouging by some of these major food giants. A lot of the actions kind of focus there and how some of these corporations may be price fixing when it comes to everyday goods.
So, and I was reading the article at foxnews.com, and food prices, inflation is decreasing, but food prices are not coming down at the same pace. Is that accurate?
That's what it seems like, yes. It seems like food is still kind of one of those things that's not getting majorly impacted by the current inflation numbers. But, President Biden will say that inflation is going in the right direction. He's got legislation that's going to be taking action and is going to be lowering those numbers. But the big problem is that whether or not that's going fast enough to really make a dent in some of the concerns that we're seeing across the country. And, of course, it's an election year.
Right. So what are, in that vein, is there any comment coming from the Republican side?
Well, not that I've seen specifically on this just yet, but I think when Republicans talk about this issue, the one thing they say that Democrats could do almost immediately, or President Biden could do almost immediately, is reverse some of his actions when it comes to energy. They feel that if the United States became less dependent on some of our foreign adversaries for oil, like Russia, like Saudi Arabia, like Iran, then the United States would be in a better position to lower gas prices across the board.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me give you an observation. I'm very cynical, Ryan. I hear the Democrats are saying price gouging, big companies, they are to blame. Really? It's a complicated formula, like everything else in life. It has to do with the supply chain, like Tracy just mentioned, energy. And one of the big factors with inflation and the cost of food price is the Biden administration's reckless spending of money. That drives inflation. Too many dollars chasing too few goods. So, where's the investigation, and when can these accusations be, clarified or accepted or denied?
Yeah, that's certainly one thing I hear a lot, is that's big government spending is one of the big contributors to inflation, and that's really saturated the market. But I think one thing to keep in mind with this specific study is that the FTC did do an investigation, and what they found was that some of these companies were taking advantage of the pandemic and of supply chain issues to raise their prices and thus raising their profits too. So that's kind of what's leading some of this action that these Democrats are asking for when it comes to investigating this specific topic from some of these major corporations.
Ryan, thank you so much for keeping an eye on this, because Republican or Democrat, it's painful going to the grocery store these days, and hopefully there's a solution somewhere in that. Have a great day.
Of course, thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
Too. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, Ryan. KPEL News Time is 6:57.
Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
There's another sign this morning that demand for luxury goods is softening. The British luxury house Burberry is reporting a 34% decline in its profit for the year. Boeing now faces a legal challenge. The Wall Street Journal says the Justice Department is accusing Boeing of violating the terms of the agreement related to 2 737 MAX crashes that forced the grounding of the planes. Boeing says it has met the requirements. The Consumer Price Index for April is released this morning and will set the tone for the markets today. Economists see the CPI moderating to a 0.3% gain in April after rising 0.4% in March. And retail sales numbers for April are released today. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage as a service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
More U.S. military aid for Israel and Ukraine. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Kyiv again today just detailed a $2 billion package of military financing for Ukraine from money Congress approved last month as the war gets worse.
With Russian troops advancing in the Kharkiv border region, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has postponed plans to leave the country. He was expected in Spain and Portugal later this week. Ukrainian troops have pulled back under heavy fire.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. The Biden administration also planning a $1 billion package of weapons and ammo for Israel, days after stopping a shipment of bombs to Israel, fearful they'd be used in the operation against Hamas in Rafah and potentially kill Palestinian civilians. 2 Republicans hope to replace Democrats in the Senate.
Well, I'm not going to D.C. to just go up there and be part of the party.
Instead, West Virginia Governor Jim Justice says after his Republican primary win,
I'm going there to shake up the world.
He'll face Democrat Glenn Elliott, trying to replace retiring Senator Joe Manchin. In Maryland, former Governor Larry Hogan won the Republican primary, also hoping to flip a blue seat red and replace retiring Democratic Senator Ben Cardin. Hogan will face Angela Also Brooks, who defeated Congressman David Trone, who spent $60 million but lost the Democratic Senate primary. Former President Trump easily won primaries in 3 states. So did President Biden, who apparently doesn't believe recent polls showing big Trump leads in several battleground states.
His top pollster says that he shouldn't. Jeffrey Pollack dismissed that New York Times Philly Inquirer poll that showed Donald Trump holds 23% support among black voters and trails Biden by only a couple points with Hispanics. However, Biden's pollster did admit that their own internal data consistently shows that the president needs to do better with black, Hispanic, and young voters.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. It is an off day at former President Trump's criminal trial. Testimony resumes tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org. For the Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news. On this Wednesday, May 15th, the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Energy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
The Cajun Heartland State Fair is coming May 23rd through June 2nd. This year, the fair celebrates its 36th anniversary, and you can celebrate with early bird savings. Get the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack before the start of the fair and save. The News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack includes 4 ride wristbands and 4 fair admission vouchers for only $100. And you can redeem them on any day of the fair you choose. Save now when you score the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack. Only $100. And hurry, because there's a limited quantity of the Advanced Mega Packs. Get yours today. You can buy the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack at the Cajun Dome box office or online at CajunDome.com. LUS presents the 36th Annual Cajun Heartland State Fair, May 23rd to June 2nd. At the Cajun Dome, experience the wild rides on the Gold Star Midway or free family entertainment like Scott's World of Magic. Learn more at KPEL965.com and click on the Cajun Dome link. Brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL, where Acadiana comes to talk.
Your KPEL News Update brought to you by Home Furniture Plus Bedding, with over 40,000 furniture and mattress choices in stock. Take a look at homefern.com. Did you know that Neighbors Pharmacy on Johnston Street in Lafayette offers delivery? How convenient is that? You're at work, you need a prescription refilled, you don't have time to run down to the pharmacy. It's easy, too, to switch your prescriptions over. Give them a call at 337-706-7706. But you're definitely going to want to make a trip to Neighbors Pharmacy. They're on Johnston Street, right near West Broussard. Go by and check out their wonderful line of gift items, whether it's for a graduation, a birthday, a just because. You will find serveware and tableware for hosting gatherings. Also, First Communion, baptism, and confirmation gifts, religious items, devotional, motivational, and organizer books. Hey, you want to go to a baseball game? They've got baseball game day items, too. And does your car smell funky? Do you want to keep it smelling fresh? They've got Pura car diffusers and so much more. Go by and check it out for yourself. And when you do, ask about their compounded oral semaglutide weight loss product. It's the same ingredient that's used in other popular injectable drugs that people have used for weight loss and had so much success, but there's no needle involved. All you do is place a drop under your tongue, watch the weight melt away. You use it daily. Ask your doctor and give them a call at Neighbors Pharmacy. So many wonderful opportunities to get well and to make someone smile at Neighbors Pharmacy on Johnston Street.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end the rest of the weekend. And next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5. KPEL right now traffic.
We're showing an accident on I-10 eastbound near mile marker 104, so that's going to be near the Louisiana Avenue exit. Also, an accident northwest of Angelin Thruway in northwest Chalmette. There's an accident. And we're showing a lot of, we have a caller that said there are a lot of police cars. Congress Street near St. Mary. Trying to get details on exactly what's going on in that particular area. But we are aware, and again, we will keep you updated. Current temperature is 68 degrees. KPEL News Time, 7:10.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
KPEL News Time is 7:12 on this Wednesday, May the 15th, 68 degrees. As our power crews, especially Slimco and Entergy, work through getting folks back online. I know that it's miserable if you're still without power after, more than, I guess we're at about 36 hours right now. In this morning for our Mayor's Minute is Mayor Jan Scott Richard from the city of Scott, and he's got a hat, and Scott is upside down, and I'm so confused.
It's just perception, Perception's reality.
This is
it's a cool hat.
It's a very cool hat.
And this is the way I took it. Okay, Scott is upside down, but Scott is right side up.
Absolutely.
Okay, because, things are blowing and going in Scott. And, it's a discussion thing. Everybody's going to see you with the hat. Mayor's going to say, Scott is upside down. What happened there?
It's just continually promoting our community.
There you go.
So here's my question. Did you have it specially made like that?
I did have it. Well, it's called an upside down hat, and they typically make hats of representing different communities in different cities. So I saw one at Houston and had the Astros colors, and I'm like, man, I'm going to make one of my own, and I'm going to put Scott and continue to promote our wonderful community.
Very clever, very clever. Welcome into the studio. Before we ask you some other questions, what you got going on in the city of Scott?
Things are great. Got a big Po' Boy Festival coming up this weekend in West Village. From 11 to 5 on Saturday inside West Village near the town square. And so we encourage y'all to all come out. They have several bands scheduled to play Pocket Chocolate, our local Kevin Knockan and the Austin Playboys, as well as the Silver Linings. And there'll be about 17 to 18 po' boy vendors throughout the area, different restaurants that'll be offering some of their delicious po' boy tastes. And so we encourage y'all to come on out and enjoy the festivities. There'll be a couple pop-up shops as well for people to purchase some stuff if they choose.
Is this the first one? No,
7th.
7th. Okay.
Yeah, what would happen is they used to have it downtown, and something didn't work out there, and so they're looking to move it. And what better place to have it in the boudin capital of the world?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question because, the Apollo Road opened, and I love it, by the way. And I saw the West Village, and I saw it's. And I every time I pass, I think, how did they get to their houses before? Like, what's the geography for those of us like me who are not familiar and thinking, where did all these houses come from?
It went up pretty quickly. I think, the demand for residential homes, in that price range were something that we didn't have at that particular time. And I think people were looking to get into a development like a T&D, like what they do, and where everything is going to be at some point. Obviously, it's not fully built out where you can walk and do everything within that community. You saw it in Sugar Mill Pond. You've seen it, obviously, in River Ranch. And even Corrette Farms is really starting to evolve as well. So those communities are pretty much self-contained once fully developed. And that's it allows for all demographics to really enjoy all the amenities of that particular area. We have a gym. We have a pool. We're waiting for the retail and the restaurants, but they're coming. And so I think once that all happens, people can really truly stay within the community and do all of their, day-to-day operations.
When did that subdivision start coming up?
It started in 2020.
Okay.
I think they secured the property sometime in 18, 19, and then they began the work in 2020.
Well, and the they is Robert Daigle. Correct. He started his signature development with River Ranch, and like you said, Sugar Mill Pond, and now we've got West Village. And so, Robert Daigle kind of began that concept in Lafayette.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see he's done well. They have a wonderful model, and they do a very good job of promoting the development. And the thing is it's not $1 million homes. I mean, that you may have some within the development, but it has price points for everyone. You have the cottages, you have some condos, you have some apartments. So, I mean, it is a mixed-use development, truthfully, and it really does encompass all price ranges in regards to offering options for housing.
Yeah.
And so that's what's important. And some people want that. Some people are looking to downsize. Some people are looking to just have it low maintenance. And so some of those options are going to be available for all.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense because you have your geographically limited mayor, as any city is, and you can get population density with those type developments, and like you said, everything you need's there: the stores, the pharmacies. You've got Lourdes.
Yep.
Lourdes
is just a walk-in clinic. We have a PJ's Coffee that's already established itself right outside West Village. You have a Fontenot Dentistry. You have Louise Lane. A boutique, Brian Schlesinger State Farm is there. So, I mean, it's coming. We got a bank currently being built, First Bank of Jeanerette. There's another bank that's beginning to stake out a piece property along Apollo as well. So it's starting to happen. And so we're going to start to really see some development as we continue to grow that corridor.
Do you expect there to be more development on the west side of Apollo?
Oh, absolutely. Some of that property is owned by them, and some of that is owned by the original landowners. And I'm assuming at some point all of those properties will probably be sold to a developer or to a business that may look to locate within our community. So it's coming. It's just a matter of time. And people in Scott, people in Youngsville, people in Broussard, if it's family property, it has a lot of sentimental value. Sometimes they have a difficulty letting go, but I think in due time we'll see that road fully developed. It'll be truly a corridor as we envisioned it, and it'll be something, a showpiece for our community in regards to not just residential capacity and residential development, but I think the economic boom that we're going to experience is going to be second to none.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, as mayor, and when we talk to all the mayors, talk about economic development, that kind of thing, and obviously Scott is growing. I mean, especially that Apollo Road section really opened things up. You've got north of the interstate that you guys have an eye on. Are there any projects that I know that sometimes in the development you can't mention names, but are there any things that you are working now that we should look out for?
Yeah, there's a few things happening. Obviously, we're knocking on doors and we're trying to promote our community as best as we can. It's really particular when companies and franchises and larger corporations are actually looking to locate within a community. There's a site selection criteria that they typically follow. Some of that stuff, may not be met within our community. I mean, they look for median range income. They look for density. They look for, there's so many criteria that they really are looking for. So, and it's not the end all be all for some of these, but the thing that we want to continue to do is just promote that. Hey, look, we have a great community. If our median income doesn't meet what your criteria is, we're getting there. We have some population that's coming. We have some residential developments that are coming. We have proximity to I-10. Mm-hmm. We have a beautiful corridor that you can get in and out. You can get to Lafayette. You can get out of Lafayette. And so those things are what we have to do to sell our community. But there's a couple things we're working on. Obviously, the mod space that was on the northeast quadrant of I-10 across from the Super One, they have relocated to Dusson. So that parcel has become available. That's close to 13 acres. We're really trying to promote that.
Mod space, the modular home?
Yeah, that was right off the interstate
yes, I remember.
Years.
Yeah.
And so we battled with them for years to try to get them relocated because we saw and we see as an administration the value in that property from a retail standpoint. We would love to see them mirror something what we see on the western side where the Super One and the Tractor Supply is. So and we're lacking retail. The city of Scott really needs more retail. We have a wonderful restaurant base. We have some wonderful other small businesses, Tractor Supply, Guidry's, but we really need more retail options for our community so that we can truthfully stay within our community. And that's what you see in most of the cities within the parish trying to do. Mm-hmm. They're trying to create an environment where their own little utopia.
Right.
I want to ask, because we're talking generally about new developments, but you mentioned some of the restaurants and retails. Okay, you turn off Highway 90 onto Scott. I believe it's St. Mary is kind of the main drag. There's a good twisty turny right there. Yep. There's also Coffee Depot.
Absolutely.
What was that retrofitted or renovated, Mayor? I don't think that building was built from the ground up. Talk a little bit about that building, please.
Yeah, that's a remarkable story. It's funny. As a kid, I spent a lot of time in that building when it was a feed and seed store. My uncle actually was a manager and kind of ran the feed and seed store. So as kids, we spent a lot of time in there. But what Mr. Laughlin did, Jeff and his wife Sarah did there, is they literally revamped the whole thing, but they kept the original structure. They added obviously a little bit to the structure to incorporate what is now the Coffee Depot, but they kept the base of it. And then he's really, really talented and did some wonderful woodwork and created really a spot to be in Scott. It's really a place to be, and people gather there often and drink coffee and have some beignets and just visit. And I think that was Jeff's mission all along, was to really grab people, get them in there and just visit. And that's what it's done.
And I got to give a little more description because it's gorgeous. And like you said, the woodwork, the ambiance of being in that place. And then you got you add the big ingredient, the people of this area of Scott.
Yep.
And look, on a Saturday morning, if you say, man, they were talking about Coffee Depot and it's an old feed and seed store, I have to go there. If you go, you better block off a couple of hours, because sometimes
absolutely.
You have to, on a Saturday morning, you have to wait for a table, and you walk in there and immediately your olfactory nerves, you smell. It's like, wow, I want to stay in here a couple of hours.
At least 3 cups of coffee.
And a meal.
And a meal.
Some great, look, home cooked food. I mean, it's an experience.
It is. And it's kind of like the Cheers concept. Everybody knows your name, and that's kind of what they've created.
Yeah.
So it's really, really been a staple within our community for sure.
Yep.
We're going to get into more projects going on in Scott or that are in process with Mayor Jan Scott Richard coming up. KPEL News Time 7:24. Stay cool with the train system from Butcher Air Conditioning. Call 337-837-2000. Online at butcherac.com. Butcher Air Conditioning. It's hard to stop a train.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up, with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We are still showing that accident on I-10 that is in the eastbound lanes near the Louisiana Avenue exit, mile marker 104. Also an accident northwest of Angelin Thruway and northwest Chalmette. So be careful in those areas. Current temperature 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 7:28 as we continue on our Wednesday with our Mayor's Minutes. In today, Mayor Jan Scott Richard from the city of Scott. You guys have had some projects that are now wrapped up. One of them I ran into kind of on accident the other day. I don't often take Mill Street, off of St. Mary and so forth, and noticed detour on Willow Street. But that bridge project is complete. Tell us what they did. And
yeah, so we had some pilings. We have to do some bridge ratings for all the bridges to make sure that they're obviously safe to travel. And this one had some pilings and some guardrails that needed to be changed out. So we put that out to bid at the latter part of last year. And the project was supposed to start at the beginning of the year, but it was going to actually affect the Boudin Festival and traffic going in. So we asked them if they would be willing to, get all their ducks in a row and just delay it till after the festival so that we didn't cause any more commotion and really trying to get people to our community for that particular event. So, but it worked out well. Once the road was closed and we put the detour signs in place, I want to say 45 days that the project is complete. The road is now open and it's safe to travel. And so just continuing to improve infrastructure throughout our community. It's kind of, one road, one bridge, one utility at a time.
Yeah.
It's kind of our approach, but it was necessary, and I'm glad to see that it finished pretty quickly.
Water conservation starts. Now, we see this from a lot of cities, but it has started. And Scott, tell us what that plan is.
It's really just kind of following the cycle. You see it from LUS. Odd days are on a specific day. I think it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then even days. I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, maybe the even. I may be wrong.
It's okay. I'm reading from this. No, it's okay. Believe me, it gets confusing. Yeah, odd numbered addresses can water Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, even Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Now, I want to make sure that folks. It says and. Here's a caveat. Owners that do not have street addresses shall be permitted to water their lawns and gardens on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. This is with sprinkler systems. Like if I have a cucumber garden, I can go water that with a hose, right?
They're just asking you to be cognizant of the conservation. We purchase our water from LUS. We don't have our own water system. So it's just really being cognizant of it, because if we get into a drought where everybody's trying to water, you can really deplete that supply line. And so it's really just being cognizant. There's no one policing it. We're just asking you to just do your part. And so that's just put out there for a reminder for people that, if we get into a situation like we did last summer where everybody's trying to water everything every day, it could really affect the supply line, which in turn could affect just how we function from a day-to-day operation.
And water pressure, and safety issues. And Tracy, you are correct. Monday is there. It's not part of the odd even days. Monday is kind of the off day, and you can water by hand. Right. I know that's the LUS rules, which you're applying in the city of Scott. So, yeah, there you have it. And it all makes sense.
It does. Again, it's a supply and demand issue, number one, but also a protection from, you don't want to delete that supply line in the case of a fire, and not have enough pressure for the fire hose to connect to this hydrant and actually do what it's supposed to do. So there's just a lot of reasons to put this out in play, and we just ask the people to follow it as best they can.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a break for news. KPEL News Time is 7:32. After Monday's storms, we have tree branches all over our yard. It really looks terrible. Do you have things you need to clean up and you're thinking, oh my gosh, if I do that, my back is going to hurt. I don't know if my hips can take it. Maybe you spent yesterday cleaning up, and today all you can do is eat Advil and lay on a heating pad. You don't have to live like that anymore. You deserve a pain-free life. The Good Feet store, you knew I was going to tell you about the Good Feet store because they have made such a difference in my life. Their arch supports, it's magic. I don't know the physics behind it. I don't know the biology behind it. They did explain it to me, but I can tell you the bottom line is it has provided such comfort for me. I can do what I need to do without having to give up a day or two recovering from whatever activity I did. The Good Feet store. No shots, no surgery, no medication. It could be the answer for you. All you have to lose is pain. Go by today. Take a test walk. You don't need an appointment. The Good Feet store. They're located on Ambassador Caffrey, right next to Chicken Salad. This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the Cape Hill News app. Now the headlines from the Cape Hill News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news on this Wednesday, May 15th. The St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Entergy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Atchafalaya Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. Former State Senator Bodie White has stepped down as Governor Landry's legislative liaison to the Senate. The Advocate reports White got into a heated argument with one of Landry's staffers over whether a bill the governor wants passed has adequate funding. The NFL schedule will be released tonight. 2 games have already been confirmed. The season opener is Baltimore at Kansas City on September 5th. The Cowboys will kick off the regular season in Cleveland against the Browns. That will be Tom Brady's debut in the broadcast booth for Fox. The Saints have signed defensive tackle Kendall Vickers and offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. Vickers appeared in 2 games with the Bills last season and spent 3 seasons with the Raiders. Patrick is a 7-year NFL vet who has started 54 games with the Packers and the Bears. Former Ragin' Cajun star Spencer Arrighetti won his first major league game Monday night when Houston defeated the Oakland A's 9-2. Arrighetti allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. Former LSU star Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wertz.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We're still showing that accident on I-10 eastbound near mile marker 104. That's Louisiana Avenue, as well as Northwest Evangeline Thruway and Northwest Chalmette Thruway. Just off Johnston Street, Town Center Parkway. That's actually right near the new Home Furniture Plus Bedding building. So be careful in that area of Johnston. You may see some slowdowns. Current temperature is 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 7:41 on this Wednesday, May 15th. On Wednesdays, of course, we have our Mayor's Minutes, and we're getting the minutes from Scott today. Mayor Jan Scott Richard joining us. And let's rewind to Monday night to kind of get an update on how Scott fared in all of just some of those devastating storms and absolutely fatal storms.
Yeah, considering the damage we've seen around the area. Even to the east of us in Baton Rouge, obviously, we fared very well. We had, obviously some power outages, and we still have some currently in the Westward Heights subdivision on the west side of Crestwell that we're trying to get expedited through energy. But, for the most part, we didn't have too much. We had some down power lines near Renault and Ambassador by the Cowboys there. But that was only for a short amount of time. But we got that removed pretty quickly and got the road open for people to travel again. And then obviously we did have a tree fall on a house off of Angler, which is near Landry. I'm not sure what the extent of that damage is, but obviously that's not a good scenario. But for the most part, I think besides, some debris and maybe some smashed up trees, for the most part, we fared very well. And obviously no injuries reported.
Now, of course, Acadiana High School was closed yesterday.
Yeah, and I think that was, a grid issue. They just couldn't get power restored quick enough, and obviously, you can't have school if you don't have power. So, I think they made the right decision there.
Yeah. So you don't have a lot of debris to clean up in the city, you don't think?
No, that was the first thing on the list for the guys yesterday morning was to get, obviously anything within our roadside ditches and streets out of the way, and our guys did a great job. I think, by lunchtime yesterday, we had most of that stuff picked up. There's always going to be a few low branches and things and leaves that you probably could remove throughout the city, and we're going to continue to focus on that, making sure that our waterways are free and clear of any and all debris, and that we have roads that are safe to travel for all.
If there's a resident who has a particular problem that you guys haven't been aware of, should they call you? What
Absolutely.
should they do?
Obviously, even from a power standpoint, contact us because we'll go straight to our municipal managers and make sure that it's trying to be addressed as quickly as possible. If you need assistance with anything in regards to trees, obviously they need to be cut to a certain length so that Pelican can address them. But a lot of people, they put these big stumps, and these trash companies don't have the capability with equipment to pick it up. So we ask that if you did have any large trees that got damaged and you had to cut down, that you cut it into 4-foot sections and as small of a piece as you can so that we can address that. And again, be patient. There's a lot of debris for them to pick up throughout the community, not just in the city of Scott. So we got to be cognizant of that and have some patience and understanding while they address all of it.
I'm noticing that you guys have a call out right now to fill a position on the Planning Commission. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's a 5-year term, and so we take resumes for that position, and it's a great opportunity. It's a major role in our community. Planning commissions do a major role in regards to telling us how they want our community to be developed. And so they look at the land use code, they look at the land use map, and they basically try to follow the comprehensive plan that we just recently updated last year. That comp plan was introduced in 12. We did an update last year. And so now we've made some changes. Obviously, with the growth, you got to make changes. And so now we have a new comp plan. We're working on the map to identify exactly how we want to grow. And this commission plays a major role in telling us how they want it to be done. Obviously, some of this stuff will go to the council, but they look at all the factors in front of them and they make a decision on whether that use is going to be good for our community.
Okay, let's say I want to be on the planning commission. Sounds like a lot of technical stuff. What qualifications should I have? What does it look like to be on that planning commission?
I look for servant leadership. That's what I look at myself as. I mean, yes, I am the mayor, but I'm a servant leader. I love my community. Yes, I make decisions for a budget, but I also help pick up trash when we do a Sweep Scott campaign. So I think that's what we're looking for, somebody that truly cares, that lives and resides in the city of Scott, that truly cares about the future of our community and how that's going to look. And so we just ask that you submit a resume. You don't have to have specific qualifications. We'll have a little committee and a panel internally within the administration that'll make a determination on who's going to be best suited for that position.
What kind of things, you kind of did a broad brush, but what kind of things are discussed in the meeting specifically? Because I would think, because here's the way my brain works. Oh, I would love to work on the planning for my city.
Right.
But I don't want to get in there and look like an idiot because I don't know what they're talking about.
No, like you'll see.
I can look like an idiot all by myself, by the way.
You'll see preliminary plats, where development of residential development will come in and say they have 140 homes, and there'll be some specific things that our engineer are requiring from the developer, and they'll play a role in that. In setbacks, they'll play a role in if there's any variances that are requested. So, for example, like in West Village, obviously the setback requirement, they ask for variances on some of that because the way they try to make it a dense neighborhood. Mm-hmm. That's the intention of the T&D. So, but they look at the plat. They make sure that they're meeting all the standards from design. They meet all the standards from roads, from the utility section, and also they'll also do stuff like code exceptions and variances. So we have a land use map, okay, and you have different areas like T1, T2, 3T, T4. These areas all identify a specific use.
Mm-hmm. And Mayor, from my 27 years in Lafayette Consolidated Government, just a little bit of input here.
Okay.
Number one, you're going to have experts guiding this committee.
Absolutely.
The committee is a volunteer committee. There's no pay, and they're an advisory committee.
They are, but they do get paid.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, we stipend them only $100 per meeting that they attend. I felt like we did that back in 2019. I felt like that was fair. We're asking to play a major role in our community and the development of it. So, we don't have meetings every single month. It just depends on what the agenda looks like, and it depends on how the development is going. So we pay them $100 a meeting.
There's another reason why Scott is top of the list.
That's
Absolutely.
Right. Outstanding.
If you're interested in that position, the deadline to get those applications in, I'm looking here, no later than Friday, June 14th. So, and they have the information on y'all's Facebook page, and I'm sure on the website as well. We'll take a break. Come right back. KPEL News Time 7:49.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Still showing that accident, 100 Town Center Parkway, which is right at its intersection with Johnston Street near the brand new home furniture location. Showing that accident still I-10 eastbound near mile marker 104. That is going to be near the Louisiana Avenue exit. Hopefully both of those have been moved off the roadways and are not causing any slowdowns. Current temperature 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 7:53. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday for Mayor's Minutes as we wrap up our discussion with Mayor Jan Scott Richard. And you know, Memorial Day is right there, and now's a great time for folks to consider participating in some way, shape, or form with your Veterans Memorial. First of all, tell us where it is and how and what folks can do.
It's in the curve of Kyrette Street. It's right off of St. Mary, just south of Uncle T's, near the Cashway Pharmacies there. It's right in the heart of our community along the railroad tracks. Wonderful, wonderful memorial. We had a wonderful event last fall for our Veterans Day. And so it's a great place to go and remember those who have allowed us to be here where we are today. And so we're super excited. But we really want to finish the project. It was always intended to be a 3-phase project, but we really would like to see, and we're budgeting now for phase 2 and phase 3, and hopefully the council wants to proceed forward in that manner. But there's opportunities for you to go and purchase planks for your loved ones or for anyone at that matter. And you just need to contact City Hall, 233-1130, ask for Roz, or you can go on the website. There should be a tab that you can click on for Veterans Memorial. So we ask that you participate in any capacity you choose.
When you say planks, like we've heard a lot of them with the bricks, right? Paint a picture of what is a plank?
So what we did is,
I know what a plank is.
We were going to put the planks on the ground, but we created kind of a step-up pedestal where, as you will, that's going to form a semicircle all the way around. Oh, wow. We have about half of that semicircle done. And so it's a brick system, but the plank is set in between the bricks. So it's about a 4-foot plank, and it has obviously, the person's name, the years that they served, and what military branch that
that's
they were
wood.
In. So, and it's like it's like that poly. It's like what you saw at Munkus Park. I'm not sure if you've been out there, but it's a material that's going to be durable in the weather.
Polypropylene, maybe the buzzword you're looking for.
And it's but it's a really, really cool. It's a rich look, and it's a great way to recognize those that have served our country.
Nice.
Now, does it have to be someone who's passed on, or can it be a current veteran?
No, of course, no. It could be a current veteran. It could be someone currently serving. We ask that you recognize whoever you choose, and it's open for anybody. And it's not just specific to Scott. We want anybody to participate, because when you come and visit, which we know you will, you'll have a great opportunity to go and pay patronage.
Yeah, and that's awesome. So make sure that you get your plank if you can. Real quick, let's visit. You got about, 45 seconds. Let's talk about the Po' Boy Festival. Invite folks out.
Yeah, Po' Boy Festival this weekend, 11 to 5 on Saturday, May 18th. Again, pocket chocolate, silver linings, and the Kevin Knock and the Austin Playboys. About 20 Po' Boy vendors out there selling their delicious Po' Boy treats. And so we encourage y'all to come on out and get a sample of that and enjoy the fellowship and the wonderful community we have.
Is there an admission fee?
There's no admission fee. It's going to be free to all, and we just encourage y'all to come on out.
You don't have to buy a whole po' boy. You buy samples.
Absolutely.
So try this one, that one, the other, and 5 others.
That's right. Get a little bit of everything.
Follow the cars, and I'm sure they'll find a place to park.
There'll be plenty of parking. The group putting it on, Social Entertainment, they'll have some workers out there that are going to be designating where people can park. So we encourage y'all to come on out.
Mayor Jan Scott Richard for our Mayor's Minutes. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Eat more boudin.
There you go.
KPEL News Time, 7:57.
This Fox Business Report is brought to you by Walter Campbell and Deborah Pierce of Keller Williams Realty. For all of your commercial property needs, reach out to Walter and Deborah today.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street will be reacting today to the latest inflation update, the Consumer Price Index for April, and also April's retail sales numbers. The meme stocks are rallying again this morning. Both GameStop and AMC shares are up about 10% on top of Tuesday's rallies. The rally was triggered by social media user Roaring Kitty, an account associated with trader Keith Gill, though Gill has been inactive for almost 2 years. Walmart could lose its title as America's biggest retailer by revenue to Amazon. The Wall Street Journal says last year Walmart sales were $648 billion. Amazon is up to $575 billion and is seeing 12% growth. It's taking on Walmart with faster shipping and a bigger product selection. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda. Invested in you.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage as a service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com/purestorage.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
This is a Fox News alert. A Biden challenge to debate and a Trump acceptance. I'm Dave Anthony.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
Now, a reference to the being a day off of the Trump criminal trial. He said he'd even do it on Wednesdays. President Biden proposing 2 debates with the former president, one in late June before they have their formal nominations, the other in September.
So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Now, former President Trump's reaction, anywhere, anytime, any place, telling Fox News Digital he's ready to go. The proposed dates are fine, adding that the president, he calls Crooked Joe, is the worst debater he's ever faced and can't put 2 sentences together. Of course, they'd spar over who can do a better job on the economy. We just got an inflation update. Fox's Ginny Casola has it.
Prices are still going up, but increases slowed last month. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.3% in April, weaker than the 0.4% increase that was forecast. For the year ending in April, the CPI is up 3.4%.
That's down 0.1% from the annual consumer price inflation back in March. And on Wall Street, the reaction is pretty positive. Dow futures up over 100 points. As more American weapons and ammo flow into Ukraine while Russian forces keep taking over more of the country, Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Kyiv announced another $2 billion worth of U.S. military financing for Ukraine. There's also more aid for Israel.
The White House has told Congress it plans to send about $700 million for tank ammunition, $500 million in tactical vehicles, and $60 million in mortar rounds. State Department sources have told Fox this is still under review and won't be delivered for many months to come.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Just after the Biden administration paused a shipment of bombs, fearing that Israel will use them against Hamas and Rafah, potentially killing Palestinian civilians. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
You know, since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been committed to supporting our nation's first responders and veterans. They support America's heroes like U.S. Army Major Jonathan Turnbull. Now, Major Turnbull sustained devastating injuries at the hands of an ISIS suicide bomber. Tunnel to Towers gave him a specially adapted smart home designed for his needs. Join Tunnel to Towers. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month so this great work continues. Their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter...
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news. On this Wednesday, May 15th, the St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Energy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy Wirtz.
The Cajun Heartland State Fair is coming May 23rd through June 2nd. This year, the fair celebrates its 36th anniversary, and you can celebrate with early bird savings. Get the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack before the start of the fair and save. The News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack includes 4 ride wristbands and 4 fair admission vouchers for only $100. And you can redeem them on any day of the fair you choose. Save now when you score the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack. Only $100. And hurry, because there's a limited quantity of the Advanced Mega Packs. Get yours today. You can buy the News Talk 96.5 KPEL Advanced Mega Pack at the Cajun Dome box office or online at CajunDome.com. LUS presents the 36th Annual Cajun Heartland State Fair, May 23rd to June 2nd. At the Cajun Dome, experience the wild rides on the Gold Star Midway or free family entertainment like Scott's World of Magic. Learn more at KPEL965.com and click on the Cajun Dome link. Brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL, where Acadiana comes to talk.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Okay, still showing that accident, 100 block of Town Center, which is actually the intersection of Town Center and Johnston near the brand new Home Furniture. Current temperature is 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 8:10 on this Wednesday morning. Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock. We welcome Lafayette Parish Superintendent Francis Touchet with us, and Dr. Rabalay's here too this morning, kind of as his wingman, but he has a very special guest. Let's start out, Francis, talking about such a special week.
Yeah, Tracy, again, this week is a week of celebration. It's a week of which families can really look back over that K-12 experience and say, hey, we actually, together as a community, we have actually did what we needed to make sure that our kids get to this point so that they can go out and be successful people. So this week we will talk about giving out 1,996 diplomas, in which over $54 million of scholarships will be given to all of these graduates. So very proud and very much looking forward to embracing within the next 4 days to give all of these diplomas to these very deserving individuals.
All right. So please introduce your guest this morning.
Hey, Tracy, good morning. So, yes, we are lucky to have with us Mr. Luke Pierre. He is a senior at Acadiana High. The reason we know Luke, we started a student advisory this year, and he was one of the candidates that applied going back to last year, going into this year. And so we've had, 4, 5, 6 meetings throughout the year with district leadership and the student advisory. And he was just one of the guys that we got to talk to, was really insightful and just can impact a room with like nobody's business. And he is just a truly remarkable young man, and just one we felt like when Lafayette Parish talks about the product and the students that they are able to produce and get out in the world, he is one we certainly want to brag and be proud of. And so that's what we just thought it'd be great for you guys to hear from him directly. He will walk across the stage this Saturday at 4 o'clock at Acadiana High's ceremony. So Mr. Luke Pierre for you guys.
All right. Yay. Okay, so were you like an outstanding graduate? Do you have like a title?
So yes, I do believe I am an outstanding graduate.
So you get to wear all the different colors on your robe.
Yes. So I have a few different cords. I'm really proud of those cords. A lot of hard work and dedication over the past 12 years. I'm just really grateful for Lafayette Parish School System and the opportunities that have been afforded to me, especially through the Business Academy. Acadiana High has just been great the last 4 years. So I'd like to give a big shout out to the Acadiana High School.
So walk us through, you did off air, walk us through your path through the Lafayette Parish School System.
Yes. So I started elementary school at Prairie Elementary. I was in the French immersion for about 2 to 3 years, and I really enjoyed French. I got to learn a little bit, and after Prairie, I went to LJ Alamo Fine Arts Academy. My time at LJ was, I guess, my favorite time in K through 12 education.
Really?
Yes.
Middle school's typically a nightmare.
And that's what everyone says, but I truly enjoyed my experience at the academy, especially at LJ, because it had the Fine Arts Academy. I was in choir, and we got to travel a lot, do a lot of things, so it was really insightful. And then finally I ended up at Acadiana High. At Acadiana, I'm in the Business Academy for sure. And through the Business Academy, I've been able to be in a lot of different business clubs. For example, I was a tax preparer for 2 years and for free.
Nice.
And I was in DECA, which is like a leadership and business type of club. And through that, I was able to become a state officer as well. And I've just been involved in about 14 different extracurricular activities throughout my high school career.
Wow. All right. So what's next for Mr. Luke Pierre?
So next, I plan to attend Howard University in Washington, D.C. I would like to double major in political science and economics with a concentration in pre-law in the hopes of becoming an attorney.
Oh, look at him. I mean, and you know what's, to me, what is so remarkable is, number one, just his openness and being well-spoken, and, because a lot of kids are just, you talk to them and they're kind of like this, but also that you have a definite path. And I think that is the message that we can take away from Luke here, is the importance of understanding that while you need to live for the moment, you need to plan for the future.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And Luke, we'd tell you good luck, but you make your own luck. And you know that as a young man who's achieved a lot. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
If you recognize his name, I saved this for last. You have a dad that most folks know.
Yes. So my dad is Vincent Pierre. He served in the state legislature for about 12 years, and now he currently works for Lafayette Consolidated Government in the mayor's office. So, growing up, being in the public eye, he always taught me the importance of just knowing people getting to be uncomfortable, getting yourself out there, and really just helping others. I've done so many things with him. I've gone to the Capitol more times than a lot of kids have ever been. I'm so grateful for the opportunities afforded to me as a young black man. And, I hope I can take those lessons that my dad taught me and then bring them to the future and bring them to the new and upcoming generation.
Well done, Vincent. Well done.
And your whole family, your uncle, Wilfred, your whole family has been involved in public service. So you grew up with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Luke. So you have an advantage there. I know your dad, and I know a lot of your uncles. And so, yeah, you have You've worked hard. It's obvious.
Absolutely. You know, my dad and both my mom also has a very rich history in Lafayette. So my grandmother actually owned the first black record shop in Lafayette.
Really?
So, you know, just that type of work ethic that they've taught me over the years, I think will really help me a lot when I go to DC by myself. You know, being in a big city, it's going to be my first time, you know, really being on my own. So I'm really excited for that, but also just I need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I'm really excited.
Yeah. And you know what? Your education. My mom always told me, and my grandfather always said, you get out of education as a student what you put in. And it sounds like you took advantage of every opportunity that was in front of you. So well done. Because I think that, unfortunately, too many kids go to school and just expect to be given, you know, I'm just going to, you know, you need to let me know my path. And it sounds like you took the reins and said, I'm going to make the best of this.
One more quick question. It's always interesting with young persons like yourself. You're an honor student. How many universities came after you? How many did you apply to, and how hard was the decision to attend Howard University?
So I applied to 8 different universities, all of them pretty much in the north. I applied to University of Maryland, the George Mason University, University of Chicago, American University, George Washington University, Tulane University. I did get one. I didn't get into one of them. That was Tulane, but I got into every single all of them.
Tulane in Louisiana?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'm gonna write somebody a letter.
That's what I said. I received over $350,000 in scholarships from all the universities. But I came when me and my parents toured Howard. I felt community, and I felt like this was the place for me. Being surrounded by, you know, such a big obstacle of like Black empowerment, it really just made me feel like home. So it was just Howard University from the very start. So
when do you leave? When do you move in? Give us the deets.
So absolutely. I leave about like the last week of July. It's my last week in Louisiana. Just getting everything moved is going to be the hardest thing. I think I speak for a lot of out-of-state students. Moving across the country is hard.
Yeah.
To buy those things, then you have to ship it, and then shipping is expensive. But you know, look, I'm just excited for what's next. So,
and Tracy, I just sit here and I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of Luke. I'm so proud of all of our graduates. But just hearing his story and just hearing his journey and his future, it just tells us that, hey, there is a better future, and there is something of which we can have hope for. So again, Luke, congratulations to you. We are so proud of you. You know that Lafayette Parish will always be your home. Anything that we can do to help you through the different things that you will deal with, please make sure you reach out.
Absolutely.
And look, you might be leaving Louisiana then, but we fully expect you to come back. I'm just letting you know.
Absolutely.
Wait, I have to take this because the superintendent left a cheat sheet right there, and we're going to bust a little bit of Luke's modesty here. 4.32 GPA. Wow.
Not too shabby indeed. Now, did you finish any AP courses? Or are you taking some credits with you?
So, absolutely. Acadiana has more of a dual enrollment type thing.
Yeah.
I know other schools may be more AP driven, but we are a big DE school. My favorite class actually was world history. I took through LSU. I got to learn a lot about just a lot of things.
Yeah.
Really interesting class. I took Calculus 1 for the first time ever. Acadiana
that calculus is that's no laughing matter.
No. Oh, no. I took calculus, pre-English. I took English 1000, Math 109, Math 110. Just, I can go on and on.
Now, is Howard going to take those credits?
Yes.
Okay,
so
good.
some schools are stingy about what credits they'll take. But luckily, Howard will take all of my credits, especially my economics credit, which I'm happy I passed.
Yeah. Well, Luke, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll talk about the end of the school year and what parents and students can expect and what they should be doing during the summertime, too. We'll talk about that coming up. KPEL News Time, 8:21. You may have heard me talking that my family and I are moving out of the house that we've been in for 20 years. And if that makes you cringe, yeah, I understand. And what has just fascinated me is the fact that I've been doing this for, 2.5 weeks, and I've not had to stop because my back put me down. Got some general achiness in my muscles. That's to be expected when you lift on things and you move things around. But I have not had to stop, and I credit the Good Feet store for that. I've been a client since December, and the difference it has made is remarkable. If you deal with that, if you deal with the fact that you know you're going to do something one day, maybe it's pick up branches in the yard from the storms last night or do intense house cleaning, and you know that the next day you're going to pay for it, they could be an answer for you. They may be able to help you too. Go by the Good Feet store, ask questions, take a test walk. There's no sense living in pain every day. There's no sense in doing the things we need to do in life and then knowing we may have to give up a day or two in bed on a heating pad or eating Advil like candy because we just did life. Go to the Good Feet store today. You don't need an appointment. They're located on Ambassador Caffrey right next to Chicken Salad Chick. And I'm telling you, this could be the answer to your chronic pain. You want relief? Go to the Good Feet one.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
Looks like those accidents are being cleared up on the roadways, and that is good news. Current temperature 68 degrees. KPEL News Time is 8:24 on this Wednesday morning. Tracy Wirtz, Mark Pope, and we have in with us Lafayette Parish School Superintendent Francis Touchet and Associate Superintendent Dr. Mark Rabelais. Did I get all that right? Okay, because, the old brain loses stuff as we go along. Still graduation this week. You've got some information you wanted to impart with us.
Correct. So we do start graduation tonight with ECA. We also have 2 Thursday, 2 Friday, and then the final 3 big schools on Saturday. So we are super excited. Every graduation is a little bit different. Every graduation represents the culture of their school, and it's an exciting time. Just want to give another shout out and thanks to Luke Pierre from Acadiana High. You guys were able to just get a snippet of how amazing and what a great kid he is. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say we have a couple of other kids and just achievements that we should just note. Caitlin Como. So ECA, we have probably, 50 to 60 graduates with ECA. A large majority of those kids earn an associate's degree. We have 64 kids in the district that are actually going to walk across the stage by this weekend. They're going to also earn their associate's degree. So they'll get their high school diploma and their associate's degree.
Amazing.
One of those kids, ECA student Caitlin Como, actually received over $75 million herself in scholarships and acceptance into over 100 universities.
Oh, my gosh.
When we talk about Lafayette Parish putting out a national product that can compete on any stage, we're super proud of our students. And Lafayette High had 3 national merit finalists. To be a national merit finalist, you have to test in the top 1% of a national PSAT test. So just some incredible achievements out there that we'll be celebrating all week, and so proud of our educators, our leaders, and our communities for what they do to support these kids' achievements.
Look, Small Potatoes, you misstated, and I know it was unintentional, $7.5 million. You said $75 million. But $7.5 million in scholarships is pretty doggone impressive.
When you said $75 million, I was like, oh, my God.
$7.5 million, that's Caitlin Como,
yes.
Those scholarship offers. That's impressive.
Yeah, we are truly blessed to have the representation that we're going to look towards as far as a graduate of Lafayette Parish. And, having 1,996 students that are going to walk across, it's a big accomplishment for not only for them, but for their family, and most importantly for the communities that they were actually brought up in.
Yeah, no kidding. And I am just in awe of all of these students, especially you said SAT, even if it's pre-SAT, my eyes glaze, because for those of us who have not taken it, because that's like, makes you want to run for the hills, right? That is not an easy test.
Right.
So hats off to them. Now, students, you'll be in next week, and we will talk more about the end of the school year. But do you have any tips for students and parents as they approach the end of school? Because the 22nd is the last day for students?
Yes, ma'am. I think the biggest thing right now for parents is just continue to stay connected to your schools all the way through the end. So they're having a lot of meetings right now, schools with parents, and talking about any end of the year concerns, celebration, things to think about. Teachers are probably going to send home, and schools will send home a lot of information at the end of the year. So check your book stacks, check your Google Classrooms, check your message boards and school communication. There's probably going to be some information that's going to continue to come down. For our elementary kids, parents, students, read. You know, we have a ton of not only Lafayette Parish camps, but also just Lafayette has camps all over. Anything you can do to get your kid involved. Reading to your kids is just as strong, research says, as letting your kids read. So that is another practice that's just huge. A lot of the programs and things, if you have access to a computer or can get to a computer lab at a library or other things, there's plenty of online programming that they'll stay accessible to kids that they use throughout the year. And then also just if you're moving from 5th to 6th grade or 7th and going from 8th to 9th grade, it's never too early to just reach out and just kind of get familiar with that transition and just see, or if you're considering academies or things that may be a movement there, just reaching out to those schools and just becoming familiar with that new climate that you're going to be going into.
And if you have a kid that's going from elementary to middle, I'm telling you, middle school,
they're gonna be all right.
they will be all right. Parents, that's a whole nother. The schools are fine. That's like thinking back to that time in my kids' lives just makes me cringe because middle school children. It takes a next level educator to deal with middle schoolers.
I have a self-interest question. First, I'm going to make a statement. So Luke attended L.J. Alamont Arts Academy. I attended L.J. Alamont as, quote, elementary school. That's before we had elementary and middle and so on. Great education. I'm a product of the Lafayette Parish School System. I'm a graduate of Lafayette High. So self-interest question. When Lafayette High is completed, Superintendent Touchet, okay, I know it's not this year, but next year when it's completed, on homecoming, will I be able to go and say, I'm an LHS graduate, I would like a tour of the school?
Absolutely, Mark. Again, we're excited about that facility. It is something of which, again, is being built at this time, beginning in that 25-26 school year. Those students are going to be first-timers into that new school, and we not only invite you, Mark, but we invite the entire community just to come and look at the product of their tax-paying dollars that they have contributed to. So, again, we're very blessed to have a facility such as that. It's going to be at the heart of our community right there on Congress. It is going to be something that you guys are going to be amazed. We have taken tours and we've kind of looked at, the developments, and it's just going to be a very remarkable building to really kind of make sure that we foster that learning that needs to take place here in Lafayette Parish.
Yep.
And in terms of projects, I've kind of been following what the board has been approving, and we know a couple of months ago some projects were kind of moved up in the funding cycle. So we should see a lot of movement over the summertime, right?
Yeah. Again, Tracy, Dr. Robele, who kind of oversees our maintenance and facilities, I will just tell you that we are very cognitive of knowing that parents, the 90% of our parents, they drive by the school, and that first impression is what they see. Mm-hmm. And it's something of which I'm looking at it from that lens. I'm saying, hey, when I drive up to LG Alamo, what is it that I see? We're really making sure that we're trying to make those changes to the facilities, but most importantly, we're trying to make sure that we are providing a facility that can really meet the needs of those individual kids. And we're being very proactive in our facility department. And we're making sure that we're showing that love to every one of our schools within Lafayette Parish. Our board members have been very tremendous in providing the opportunities for funding. And it's been something of which, we're off to a great start. And there's going to be great things that are going to be taking place in 24-25.
Well, we look forward to it, and we look forward to continuing our conversations with you guys. Again, thanks so much to Lafayette Parish School Superintendent Francis Touchet and Dr. Mark Rabelais for coming in and sharing what's happening. We will talk in the weeks to come about summertime, the things that are available through Lafayette Parish School Systems, because while they will be on a break, you certainly don't want them to fall into the gap. So thank you, gentlemen, so much. Have a great day. KPEL News Time, 8:32. This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Your 24/7 news source, on air, online, and with the KPEL News app. Now the headlines from the KPEL News Center.
Good morning. I'm Tracy Wertz with a look at news on this Wednesday, May 15th. The St. Martin Parish Sheriff's Department has identified the person killed during Monday's storms as 24-year-old Lydia Stiegel of Bronson, Texas. She was in a camper on Paul Road in Cecilia when a suspected tornado flipped the trailer. 2 more people died Monday in the storm. A pregnant woman in West Baton Rouge Parish died when a tree fell on her trailer. Her pregnancy was at term when she was killed, and the baby did not survive. The National Weather Service in Lake Charles has confirmed that 3 tornadoes touched down in South Louisiana Monday night. The one that killed Lydia Stiegel began just south of Cecilia, turned into an EF2 in Henderson, and traveled about 5 miles until it entered the Atchafalaya Basin. 2 more tornadoes struck Calcasieu Parish, one in Westlake that crossed I-10 and went into downtown Lake Charles. The other touched down in Sulphur, and experts say it may have gone into Lake Charles. No injuries were reported from the Calcasieu Parish tornadoes. As of this morning, roughly 5,000 customers are still without power. Slemco Energy and LUS say crews have moved to the more individual phase of the process and are working around the clock to restore power as quickly and safely as possible. The body found floating in a canal south of Kaplan last month is identified as a 55-year-old homeless man. Vermilion Parish Sheriff Mike Cuvion says Hector Vargas was known to be living in the Lafayette area, and an autopsy revealed that he was shot numerous times. In conjunction with the Lafayette Police Department, they arrested 2 suspects, Gabriel Montoya and Pablo Fernandez. Work visas for both men expired many years ago, and they are in the United States illegally. They have been charged with second-degree murder and obstruction of justice and are being held without bond. At the state capitol, the Louisiana House has given final legislative approval to a measure that repeals a 2022 state law that called for cameras on the I-10 Atchafalaya Basin Bridge that would issue tickets to motorists who drove over the speed limit. New Iberia Senator Blake Miguez says human police officers should issue traffic citations, and the operator of the camera system would take money away from local criminal justice systems. The bill received unanimous support in both the House and the Senate. A bill to restrict access to specific communications from the governor's office through a public records request is dead for the legislative session. There's pushback against Governor Landry's efforts to restrict public access to certain government records. West Monroe Senator Jay Morris says he agrees with the governor's desire to keep certain records out of public view, but it's hard to find a balance between transparency and keeping government information hidden. There are still 2 other bills in the legislative session that would limit public access to state government records, but it remains to be seen if they can get Senate approval. Former State Senator Bodie White has stepped down as Governor Landry's legislative liaison to the Senate. The Advocate reports White got into a heated argument with one of Landry's staffers over whether a bill the governor once passed has adequate funding. The NFL schedule will be released tonight. 2 games have already been confirmed. The season opener is Baltimore at Kansas City on September 5th. The Cowboys will kick off the regular season in Cleveland against the Browns. That will be Tom Brady's debut in the broadcast booth for Fox. The Saints have signed defensive tackle Kendall Vickers and offensive lineman Lucas Patrick. Vickers appeared in 2 games with the Bills last season and spent 3 seasons with the Raiders. Patrick is a 7-year NFL vet who has started 54 games with the Packers and the Bears. Former Ragin' Cajun star Spencer Arrighetti won his first Major League game Monday night when Houston defeated the Oakland A's 9-2. Arrighetti allowed 2 runs over 5 innings. Former LSU star Alex Bregman hit 2 home runs. That's a look at your news. I'm Tracy.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
All right, taking a look at traffic. We do have an accident on Congress Street. It is 3100. Going to get an exact location for you. That actually just popping up on our screen. That is Congress at Marie Antoinette. So be careful in that area. KPEL news time is 8:41. Current temperature 68 degrees. Good morning and welcome back into Acadiana's Morning News on this Wednesday, May 15th. Just want to extend another word of appreciation to Lafayette Parish School Superintendent Francis Touchet and Associate Superintendent Dr. Mark Rabelais. Mark, while students and parents and teachers are kind of winding down the school year, central office is really busy trying to aggregate all the data and information, and it's a busy time for them. And again, a congratulations to the graduates.
Yeah. You can never say enough.
No, not at all.
Never say enough. And the young man we had in here, we have a good school system. I mean, the cliche, I think you said it in our discussion, is you get out of education what you put into it. And certainly our teachers are a big part of that equation, that quote education equation. So, thanks to them and all the many people who make Lafayette Parish School System successful.
No, without a doubt. And taking a look at our updated power outage numbers, if you look across the areas that are affected, we're under now about 4,000 in Acadia, Lafayette, St. Martin, St. Landry, those areas right along the I-10 corridor that were really hit by Monday's storms. The 7 o'clock update from Slimco, Slimco specifically has restored power to about 2,600 people. Of course, individual and smaller group outages are being worked on by both Slimco and contractors who have been brought in. Butte, LaRose, Cypress Island, Dusson Ridge, East Rain are where large-scale repairs and reconstruction continue. So if you live in any of those areas and don't have power yet, that's probably why. They say it's been a difficult 36 hours for those still without power. Thankfully, Mark, the temperatures have not been brutal. Yeah. The humidity has not been crazy, but it does get very warm during the day. I mean, we've been hitting 90 degrees.
Well, 90 today.
Yeah. We understand, they say, we are working to get power up as quickly and safely as possible. And, as you read through the comments from customers of Slimco and Entergy and all of the other electricity providers, while they are frustrated, it's heartwarming to see that while they may not be patient with it, they aren't being ugly with it. There's not any, not at a large scale, at least. You need to get my power on.
I thought you meant the customers. Yeah.
Well, the customers. Yeah.
Right.
But most people are saying, look, we understand. We know that you're doing the best you can. And if you remember, this always gives me cause for pause. I remember back when Hurricane Lily hit. Do you remember that? It was very early 2000s. And how long it took power restoration then. Yep. Look how far we've come.
Yep.
These power companies get it up relatively quickly.
They work through the night.
Yeah.
They have these huge spotlights that, they light the night and work through the night. And look, these power companies, they help each other. I hope we mentioned it, but LUS helped Florida.
Yeah,
I don't
Tallahassee,
remember what
Florida.
city.
It was Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, right. Because they got hit by a storm. And, it's just, you can't say enough about these utility companies and the network that they've established and the way they help each other. And, you're right. We need to be thankful, even though once in a while some of us might have to go, some number of days without power.
And, as I look back at Lily, and I just keep going back to that because I remember just vividly, I think we were without power where I was for about 4 or 5 days. Ooh. And just how miserable it was. And I think that technology advancements have allowed them to do their jobs more expeditiously. Mm-hmm. Because it allows them to identify specific places and reasons for those outages, whether it's a pole down, whether it's a transformer that's blown, whether it's a whole, node that feeds several different houses. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I know it's so frustrating if you don't have power right now. I can't even imagine in 90-degree heat, but hang in there. Help is on the way. And they've made significant progress since first thing this morning. About 1,000 more people have power right now than they did when we got here at 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. KPEL News Time, 8:47. We'll be back to wrap up the show.
Democracy 24.
On the campaign trail, former President Trump is promising to undo President Biden's energy policies. Trump says if he's back in office next year, the push by the Biden administration to get more Americans in electric vehicles will be the first thing to go.
They're too expensive. They're going to be made in China, and they don't go far. Other than that, I think they're wonderful. On day one, I will immediately terminate Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate.
The White House, hoping to tackle climate change, is spending billions of dollars to go green, incentivizing EVs and energy-efficient appliances. But Republicans say that policy is part of the reason energy costs are up almost 37% since President Biden took office. Former President Trump's comments highlighting the stark difference between President Biden and his predecessor on energy, with less than 6 months till the election. Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
The Rustic Renegade is your one-stop shop in Lafayette for firearms, concealment furniture, men's grooming products, and our locally roasted coffee.
Another very sunny day across Acadiana today, 90 degrees for that high. Winds from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Should stay quiet through the overnight hours as well as into the first part of tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we will start to see the clouds building up with showers and thunderstorms expected to arrive late Thursday night and continuing on into early Friday morning before coming to an end. The rest of the weekend and next week looks like it will be quiet. From the Storm Team 3 Weather Lab, I'm KTC meteorologist Daniel Phillips on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Right now, traffic.
We got that accident on West Congress near its intersection with Marie Antoinette right there by Lafayette High School. So be careful in that area. Temps are rising, 74 degrees now. KPEL News Time on this Wednesday morning is 8:52. Tracy Wertz, Mark Pope joining you. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. And I want to encourage you to go to our website and vote for a Karen Crow teacher, specifically Bob Lilly Elementary School. Her name is Kelly Chitty, and she is in the running for America's favorite teacher. This is exciting stuff. She is one of 64 quarterfinalists, and she needs to get the number one slot to move into the semifinals. Now, let me tell you, if she wins $25,000, a trip to Hawaii, and she will appear in Reader's Digest. She said she focuses on each child's self-esteem and makes her classroom a family-friendly atmosphere. Unbelievable. This is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
We do have, again, that link at our website. You can vote once every 24 hours, and it basically tracks the IP address. So if you have a bunch of different computers, go vote. But the deadline is tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. So America's Favorite Teacher, good luck to Kelly Chitty of Bob Lilly Elementary School. She's a pre-K teacher. And, hopefully she wins.
Well, isn't the easiest way, so you mentioned the website, kpel965.com.
Uh-huh.
Go there and find the article on America's Favorite Teacher, and then there's a link, correct?
Yes.
You can vote with the link in the article?
Correct.
I say that's the easy way to do it.
Yep, no kidding. And it brings you up to another screen. I'm going to have to go in and figure out how to get into it. But anyway, just go vote for her. Can you imagine if a Lafayette Parish teacher was voted? Oh, my watch is talking to me. If a Lafayette Parish teacher was named America's favorite teacher.
Oh yeah. I wonder, and I hadn't read the article, full disclosure, but I wonder if she's probably nominated by her fellow teachers.
I can't answer that question. No, I can't. That is not in. Yeah, that's not in here.
She is there, and she is at Bob Lilly. That's a very new school. I know they're extremely proud of it, and seems like Miss Chitty is, proud about what she does in educating our young folks.
Well, and so many educators are dedicated because getting over there sometimes is absolutely a labor of love.
Yeah.
So much more responsibility has been heaped onto the shoulders of our teachers. And I really like Dr. Kate Brumley's idea, focus, goal of back to basics, where we really just dig in to math and language arts for our students, because that's the basis for everything else. And so hopefully our teachers will get some relief. There's a number of education bills going through the legislature right now. We'll keep an eye on them and bring you up to date on how they fare in our Louisiana legislature. Tomorrow is Thursday. We've got our history professor, Dr. Bob Carricker, in. He's back from his trip. Also, Lafayette Live. And tomorrow in the 8 o'clock hour, our law enforcement segment on tap. We do have the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office and some other folks in to join us. Thank you so much for being with us on this Wednesday morning. Enjoy a beautiful, bright, sunshiny day. Tomorrow, the storm shouldn't be as bad as we saw on Monday, as Daniel said. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us, and God bless.
The Fox Business Report is brought to you by Gulf Coast Bank, your local community bank. Whether your financial needs are for an individual, a business, or for the whole family, Gulf Coast Bank has the knowledge and products to serve you best. With 9 convenient locations throughout Acadiana, you're never far from a friendly Gulf Coast Bank associate.
I'm Susan Lee, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Prices are still going up, but increases slowed last month. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.3% in April, weaker than the 0.4% increase that was forecast. The other readings matched expectations and mostly show a slight improvement from March. For the year ending in April, the CPI is up 3.4%. Core inflation rose 3.6% on an annual basis. Also, consumers pulled back on spending in April. Retail sales were flat compared with March, though up 3% from a year ago. Red Lobster could be filing for bankruptcy as early as next week after closing dozens of restaurants. It still has hundreds of locations. The Wall Street Journal says Red Lobster plans to stay operating while reducing debt. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jim Coselva. Invested in you.
Something amazing is happening in data management. Even though storage needs are constantly changing, companies are only paying for what they need now. That's because CDW customized a Pure Storage Evergreen One SLA-driven storage as a service solution that delivers enterprise-grade hybrid cloud storage that is effortless, efficient, and evergreen. Simplify storage administration with Pure Storage and CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at CDW.com.
Every day at 5 p.m. right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. It's me, Joe Cunningham, with The Joe Cunningham Show, offering you news, analysis, and commentary you're not going to get anywhere else. The big news stories of the day, and even some of the headlines you may not be aware of. It's your local, state, and national news coverage from a local perspective right here. Every day, News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Check us out, The Joe Cunningham Show, every day at 5 p.m.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studio. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
This is a Fox News alert. A Biden debate challenge accepted. I'm Dave Anthony. Former President Trump's reply to President Biden's video on X. Anytime, anywhere, anyplace.
Make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
A jab at this being an off day at the Trump criminal trial.
President Biden is challenging his predecessor to 2 debates. The chair of the Biden campaign suggests news organizations host the debates. She says the first debate should be late June after President Biden returns from the G7 summit in Italy and after the New York trial for former President Trump likely concludes. A second debate is proposed for September.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. In the acceptance, Trump campaign spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt tells Fox,
"We are pleasantly surprised that Joe Biden has finally accepted and acknowledged President Trump's challenge to debate him. We have long been saying President Trump is ready to do this."
In a Trump Truth Social post, he also called for more than 2 debates, and he wants to be at a large venue, but says President Biden's supposedly afraid of crowds. 2 Republicans have taken a step toward flipping 2 Democratic Senate seats.
D.C. is dysfunctional today. And we know we've got all kinds of problems.
West Virginia Governor Jim Justice won the GOP primary. He'll face Democrat Glenn Elliott in a race to replace Senator Joe Manchin, who's retiring. In Maryland, former Governor Larry Hogan won the Republican primary, hoping to replace Senator Ben Cardin, also a Democrat, also not running again. Hogan will face Angela Also Brooks, who won the Democratic primary. We got an update on inflation this morning. Consumer prices rose a less than expected 0.3% last month, and the annual rate of price increase dropped a tenth from March. Now 3.4%.
Also, consumers pulled back on spending in April. Retail sales were flat compared with March, though up 3% from a year ago.
Fox's Jenny Casola on Wall Street. The Dow's up 150 points. The S&P and NASDAQ, record highs. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org. For the tunnel.
Get ready for something fresh and exciting with the Josh Guillory Show. Josh Guillory brings a new perspective to the airwaves, analyzing news and issues coming out of Baton Rouge and Washington, D.C., and breaking down how they affect you. Engaging, raw, and informative, Guillory knows how to have fun while delivering the latest in politics and current events. With daily features that entertain and inform, you won't want to miss a single episode. The Josh Guillory Show, 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, only on News Talk 96.5. KPEL